The scary truth about Phil Foden that no one is noticing. Most often, in the world of football, we tend to get so carried away by some of our favorites that we fail to see some other legends that are in the making right before us. So, not exactly sure why, but it seems that the football world is really sleeping on Phil Foden and might just haven't given him enough recognition as he deserves, given the amazing display of skills that the young man has already shown over the years. At a really young age of 23, he can be easily compared to the likes of Messi during their early years. You might think that's a pretty big shoe to fill, but boy, he's got some really promising potential. And if you stick around, you'll get to hear what Pep Guardiola himself had to say about him. Phil Foden has really put in the work right from the beginning, as he was really far ahead of his peers even when he was in the academy. In fact, he was doing so well with the under-10 team that the coach had to move him to play with the older team back then. Quite impressive, right? Well, such a move isn't bad for someone who had scored 5 out of 10 goals in that U10 game, which went on to end in 10-0. He was clearly doing something better than the others in the team, and his coach back then could clearly see that, hence the decision to take him to the U14 team. Having this at the back of your mind, his current achievements in Man City shouldn't come as a surprise at all. In fact, Pep Guardiola might just see him as one of his most successful players, given the amazing performance that he's put forward for Man City for this season alone. And not just this season, he's been waxing hard since joining the team in 2018. I mean, the rising star has basically left a mark by making major achievements in the game. At just 23, he's already won 5 Premier League titles and still counting. His performance is quickly growing to be at par with the likes of Ricardo Kaká, making his way to the top as one of the best midfielders that you can get at the moment. It's clear that Pep's exceptional managerial ability is rubbing off quite well on the young player. But it also takes a willing mind to internalize the training he's being exposed to. You can agree with me that not all players who have had the opportunity to be under good managers have managed to make the best out of their situations. Now, after that move from the under-10 team to the under-14, despite his small build, he never seemed out of place with the team and had continued to train with them on different occasions. Fast forward to his career as a professional footballer, it seems his small build is still with him. But the crazy thing is that he's never allowed that to be an excuse for him not to measure up in the game. Come to think of it, it seems the only major trophy that the young lad hasn't touched yet is the Ballon d'Or, which the likes of Kaká have, which, if we're to be fair, isn't out of his reach yet. The only problem is that being so successful at a young age comes with a buildup of expectations that might put so much pressure on a player. But given more playing time and the opportunity, Phil Foden is likely to get his hands on that title. That's if he maintains his current push in the game. For Phil Foden, he still has a lot of games left for him to beat these expectations, and even if he doesn't this season, the boy's only 23 and still has a lot of room to prove himself. Also, it seems that the quality of players that Phil has had to play side by side with since joining Man City has helped him improve remarkably on the pitch. He trains and even plays side by side with the likes of Kevin De Bruyne, to the point that he successfully held the midfield position even in his absence. Interesting, right? Phil has always found himself in the middle far superior personalities right from the academy. But the interesting thing is that he's always found a way to make the best out of these situations. Take for instance when he moved from the U10 team to the U14 team. The purpose was to teach him how to avoid contact while in play. The bigger figures of the older boys were meant to teach him this, but as it turns out, he learned over time how to challenge some of these bigger figures when they came for him. This was according to the testament from one of his coaches then. Quite a spectacular personality we have there. So it shouldn't be difficult for the young man to fill the shoes of some of the best players that you've ever known. Only time will tell that Phil has in stock for everyone. Phil Foden was on fire when he finally made it to the Man City main team, which had everyone rooting for him. Even Pep Guardiola was so impressed with his performance in the 2019 Premier League to the point of proclaiming him one of the best talents that he's ever trained. For Pep to have been so proud of him to the point of saying that, then there surely is something to look forward to. Must feel good to see the players responding to training. And as it turns out, his performance in that season was only the beginning of great things to come. As the years progressed, Foden started to rake in some trophies to his portfolio. Aside from the 5 Premier League trophies that has helped Man City win, he also has won 2 FA Cups in the 2018-19 and 22-23 seasons, and also 4 EFL Cups. As to these performances, some might argue that the player has been with a really stable team all his life. I mean, it's Man City. But when you look at his personal records too, you get to see that there is more to the player than many really acknowledge. For instance, he was the PFA Young Player of the Year nominee for 3 years in a row, starting from 2020 to 22, though he hasn't gone all the way through to win that one. But here are some that he's actually won. He's been the Manchester City Etihad Player of the Month multiple times, and back in his days in the U17 team for Manchester City, he got his hands on the FIFA U17 World Cup Golden Ball Award in 2017 after the spectacular win against Spain in the finals. And what a crazy encounter that was. Spain had gotten a 2-0 head start against England in the first half of the match, but England made a strong comeback in the second half, with Phil Foden scoring the 3rd and 5th goals, leaving the match ending in 5-2 in favor of England. After that performance, any doubt Man City might have had must have been cleared because he joined the main team the following year, where he continued his exploits. The World Cup win also added the achievement of a FIFA U17 World Cup winner to his portfolio. What if we take a look at his performance in the current season under Man City? What will his performance tell us? Well, just like in the previous seasons, his performance has been nothing short of impressive, which is a testament to his ever-growing influence on the team. Currently, along with other big names in the club like Erling Haaland, he is currently holding the top spots as one of the highest goal scorers this season as of March. He has a total of 18 goals in 42 appearances across all competitions, which is nothing short of amazing for a player with such a small build. He has 11 goals in the Premier League, 4 in the Champions League, 2 in the FA Cup, and 1 goal in the Club World Cup. If he keeps that up, he might just be on his way to the top of the list in the near future. Aside from the goals, he also has a record of 13 assists across all competitions this season, highlighting his position as a good team player as well. There is still much for the young player to do, no doubt, but his achievements so far shouldn't go without due recognition. There's still a lot of time for him to make more waves, as many will expect, and if he keeps the energy going, it definitely won't be long before he gets to the top. Now, we've taken you through some of the most interesting times in the life of the rising star. So what's your thoughts on this? Do you think that fans won't be disappointed in the future with his performance in upcoming matches? Is it possible that we're witnessing the rise of another person that will get a spot in the GOAT competition, or is it just too early to tell at the moment? We would like to hear from you in the comments, and don't fail to tell us your reasons if you're in doubt of Phil's capabilities to hold it at the top. Just remember to be at least fair to the young man, as he's still pretty much young in the game. Till next time, don't forget to look through our channel for more amazing videos. Goodbye.